You know, we talk about safety, they talk about tourism and so on. I saw a very disturbing tape a few days ago, and I will show it to you because I have it here. Very, very disturbing. And what I'm referring to here is that, according to the report, two visitors came to see cricket in Guyana. You know, they had the semi-finals between England and India at Providence Stadium. And the video shows that these men were going back to their hotel. They were pounced on by two predators and robbed. And it is said that among the things that were stolen from them were the American green cards. And you can imagine what's going to happen there now. Because if they're in Guyana and they have they are legal permanent resident, as they are called, and you thieve the green card from them, I can understand they're going to get some issues getting back into the States. I hope that these guys were able to overcome that hurdle and be able to get back to whatever work they had to do and all of that. But the whole thing is that, you know, we're talking about safety, and it is very disturbing because at one incident of this nature, imagine what they're going to go and tell people and all of that, that Guyana is not a safe place. And it is true. People have said to me that they are afraid to come to Guyana because of the traffic situation and because of you're being victims of robbery. Let me show you what the tape. Let me show you this tape. It's a little. It's about 2 minutes. Look at it here. Yeah, folks, you saw it there. I mean, it is so upsetting. I don't know who the persons are, but based on what was reported, they are from the US. I don't know what time of the day this incident occurred, but these are two men apparently peacefully walking back. The county report they were going back to some bread and breakfast place where they were staying, and they were pounced on and robbed. Incident like these put Guyana in such a bad way, such a bad picture. Bad picture. It shows. Imagine what these people are going to go back and tell their relatives and friends and all of that. Imagine when people see these things, what they are going to say. And you know, I say this to say it because when they at the opening of the police officers conference early this year, the acting commissioner, the extended quarter, said that the biggest problem that they have is cyber issues. That's what he said. One of the biggest threat in this country, cyber issues. So street crimes like that, according to him, is that of concern. And I read to that where they had some activity at the stadium, I think it was last week, A lot of people complained when they came out, their cars were broken into, cell phone and other documents stolen. These things present a bad image because a lot of people in the States and in the diaspora, when they have these activities, they come to enjoy themselves. They come to enjoy, they come to Guyana to spend a week or two, to spend some money, to enjoy the weather, and to generally have a good time, meet with family and friends, and to be traumatized like when incidents like this occur. It cannot be good for the image of the country. And they're gonna tell you, oh, crime is under control and crime is under decrease. They're gonna say all manner of things, all manner of things. But incidents like this belie those claims of safety and security. As I've said before I bring in Mr. Conway, people have said to me, have reached out to me to say, look, I haven't gone back to Guyana for how many years. I want to go back, but man, I'm frightened the traffic situation, I'm frightened the crime, a blackout here, but blackout. These are things that are troubling people. Are we talking about investment? We talking about tourism and all of that. You're not gonna get tourists coming to the country when these things are occurring with impunity and with regularity. It would seems with regularity. I hope these people are caught. Well, I hope by now the persons will be able to either get back the green card or get some permission from the authorities to travel back to the US. Because imagine that these people came for cricket and they have to turn out to work in a day or two and they don't have travel. Because no aircraft is going to board them to go to the States unless you have a visa or American passport or a green card. So right away, it's not only they lose whatever they would have had with them, but their jobs would be in jeopardy as well. Real sad. And I grieve for those two persons and other victims. CC?
Yeah, couple of conferences ago, the police came out with a statement that the president said, safe city, we're talking about those cameras, will replace boots on the ground. Those cameras are after the fact. And you can't stop boots on the ground. Boots on the ground are very, very critical. And and as you mentioned, not only the crime, but the fear of crime. Crime might be low, but it take one high profile crime to spread across the world, and here Guyana is not a safe place. That crime is high. So they got to have a total thing and don't only depend on the camera. Safe city can't replace boots on the ground. Boots on the ground is very, very important. Important. And then they must have known that visitors going to certain locations and certain hotels as the case may be, and you provide the necessary security arrangements. But it's sad, that persons when they're about to go away, green cards gone and all kind of thing gone. For me, apart from the safe city apparatus, boots on the ground is a critical issue in crime fighting.
Yeah, and let me say this. I mean, crime fighting is to some extent a science. The first time I saw CCTVs in operation to aid crime fighting was in England when I was at the staff college there. I went to Northamptonshire for a few days attachment. I think it was Campbelltown police station was like the breakdown of that county. And they had the operations room. The cameras were there in locations, and they could see what is going on. And the most important thing is that they had patrols on the ground. So if they saw something suspicious on the camera, they could alert the nearest patrol, foot or mobile patrol. Look, such and such a location, check out something looks suspicious. Well, I don't think we have that. Beats and these things are something of the past. I can't recall the last time, except for when you have Christmas policing, that you have policemen on the beats. If you're going to talk about crime fighting and making the place safe, you have to have policemen on the foot on beats. Go to the US and all, New York and all those places, policemen on their foot and beat. Because the thing about patrols, while patrol is good to respond, a patrol drive past and many of them police vehicles you see around the place, they don't know about patrol speed because back in the day, the drivers were taught to drive at patrol speed, and patrol speed was a very slow speed, 5 to 10 kilometers, where you can then observe what is going on. But when you fight past at even 25 or 30 kilometers or in any street or road or whatever, you're gonna miss things. You are gonna miss things. So you have to have, in addition to the cameras where they talk about, where they talked about, but cameras and eye in the sky, they are this operation national and eye in the sky. You have to have people on the ground because cameras can't arrest nobody. Let me understand this thing clearly. Cameras cannot arrest anyone. So even if in the operations room the people see what is going on, they have to have boots on the ground to intervene and to deal with it. So I hope they will sit down and assess these things. I was so disappointed with the report, things broken at the stadium, because we had a plan back in the day. We had a plan how to deal with mass events at the stadiums. We had a plan in make use of canine and all of those type of things, because those are soft targets, vehicles parked in some remote areas. Many times they don't have lights and all of that. That was all part of the plan, that the designated parking areas will have proper lighting, and policemen, canine, we used to make use of the canine and all of that to prevent those things. But you get to the stage now, which is sad, that all of those plans that were there seems not to be operational. And I would hope that people will sit down and listen to the message, forget about the messengers. Listen to the message and make sure you sit and you strategize. Because more cricket coming up, CPL, and they get cricket festival and all things coming up. Thief man got a thief. Let me understand this thing clearly. In the environment, thief man and thief. So therefore, you in law enforcement, you have to plan how to deal with situations like that, how to make the targets harder and how to prevent them from thieving people thing. Put it mildly. Thieving people thing. Let me bring in Mr. Conway if he wants to say anything more on this, and then I'm going to move on.
Yeah, I remember when Henry Green was the commissioner of police. I had I produced a booklet, Hints to Patrol Duty. It was useful then, and I think it is even more useful now, where they can make use of it. And if they can find a copy, I have hard copy, I have electronic copy. Let them contact me, and I will give them freely, because if I charge them, I'm going to get another conspiracy to defraud charges. So I'll give them freely in the interest of the Guyana Police Force and the interest of peace and stability in Guyana.
Yeah, so yeah, I hope that they listen. I have a copy of that book too, Insto Beat Patrol, but you have to have patrol in the first place. And I don't know how they're gonna manage that, because the force is hemorrhaging. People are resigning, people are just walking off the job. I understand the senior man questioned the acting commissioner, the extended man there. So what are the reasons for so many people leaving the force? I hope I don't expect him would have given the proper answer. They're going to come with some nonsensical explanation. But the force is demoralized. Let me understand this. And there are several reasons, including working conditions, including pay and remunerations, including management. Management is a critical part in motivating persons to work. Critical. And the people are not motivated. They report, you have officers in command and branches, all they do is cost the junior people. All they do is discriminate against them. Allegation that they want the people to get involved in corrupt practices, and when they refuse to get involved in corrupt practices, they are discriminated against. So some people have decided, rather than take a chance of being corrupt and perhaps end up in jail, it's better to go somewhere else. The security landscape in terms of private security, it seems to be a more lucrative one. And they need to examine that. They need to examine these things. For example, right now, we know, as we said, the last promotion that they had anything is 2 years ago. Today, 2 years ago, 2022, people are not being promoted. And I'm sure the vacancies in some cases are there. But these things will demotivate people. And if the senior ones who may have legitimate expectation of being promoted are not promoted, they are the ones who are not going to be able to motivate the people. And then when you decide to promote, and you're not promoting based on competence, you're promoting based on political loyalty. You're promoting based on instructions from outside of the force. People know, the ranks know, and therefore they're not going to dunk tools, so to speak, in terms of going on strike, but they will just carry through the movement. They just carry through the movement, and it is showing every day. Every day you're seeing that. Every day you are seeing that. Disunity. When Pastor Dulichan prayed in 2021, he spoke about disunity in the force, and I have information that the disunity is even more now. The disunity is worse now than it was in 2021. So how do you expect effective law enforcement? I'm saying that the police force, the Guyana police force, is a critical institution for the development of this country. Critical. And if you can't deal with it properly and get it to act in a professional manner, you're going to continue to have these incidents, and people are going to lose faith in the old system. You don't want that. You don't want that. People must be confident that if you're going about your lawful business, you're going to be uninterrupted. You have all of these robberies of Chinese business places, all type of crime going on. And then what you see, apparently the energies of the force are directed towards people with ganja. Some people with some small quantities ganja. Almost every day you pick up the paper, somebody get catch with ganja, somebody get some ganja. That seems to be the focus. And as I've said before I move on to the other subject, is that if the administration of the force feels that the most critical thing to deal with is cyber crime, then one can imagine what is going to happen. So robberies and these things are not critical. Because remember, is the acting commissioner said so earlier this year that cyber crime is the most critical things affecting the force. He also said that the recruiting and retention of ranks is those things are critical as well. Yeah, they're critical, but what are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? Let me bring in Mr. Conway to wrap up on this part, and then I'm going to move on. See anything more about the force and the patrol posture and all that?
Well, they're getting patrols, especially in Alberton, when they're going to dismantle a certain building, they've got enough patrols around there. But you mentioned about, vacancies. There are vacancies for 4 deputy commissioners, and they ain't making any. As a result, there's disunity among the assistant commissioners. I saw documentation, and I'm going to make it plain with the head of the CID and the commander C division. Pages and pages of allegations and all kind of thing being circulated. The unity isn't there. Because man saying, you're assistant commissioner, you can't talk to me. You can't talk to me, and you can't deal with disparate matters, because that is for the police service commission. And here is it, you have a assistant commissioner writing an assistant commissioner in relation to disciplinary matters. So the synergy isn't there, the cooperation isn't there, like Paul in our days, where we used to look out for Matty. It isn't there. And part and at the top there, because they are not making deputy commissioners, they're not even making commissioner. All they doing is they extended the squatter. So a lot of things going wrong, and will continue to go wrong unless decisive action is taken.